So this is our AutoRoller 746. The bunk's upstairs there, and there's the driver's cab. She's parked in our driveway just now. I'm going to take you inside. Hi, it's jonbinnie. I'm going to give you a quick tour of the upgrades that I've been making during lockdown. So starting at the back of the van, I put in these USB cables, so when we're sat around the chairs we can just plug in our phones and charge them without having to have cables running everywhere, so that's really handy. I think there's 3 of them and they basically run around here. There's another one just here for me. They run all the way under the cushions and then they run up to behind the TV. So it's just like a normal 12 volt TV. But before any upgrades, there was just this one socket up here for like 12 volts and that was it. And there was just one USB socket around the corner there. So what I did is I added in this small box. This is so cool. This little box provides, it's not on just now, but it provides 4 USBs and then 3 12 volt adapters at the bottom. And what it does is it allows the TV to be plugged into the socket up here, but also to charge USB at the same time. And then in the cupboard here, so this is the solar controller. So just up above here, up on the roof, there's a 130 watt, 140 watt solar panel. And this device here called the MPPT solar controller, what this does is it allows like more fine-grained control over the solar. So what I've done is I've replaced the original one, and this one allows like a Bluetooth app, which I can show later. And I was just going to show you how the app works. So what we have here is the app that works with Bluetooth. So you just connect to Bluetooth, and what it's doing is at the moment it's almost dark outside, so you can see that it's 0 watts coming in. And then it currently has 14 volts and the battery volts is 12 volts. And so here in the history we can see, like, over time on each day how many watt hours we've been getting in, and also what the battery highs and lows are, so you can see how it's been doing. And then the trends over time. Now what's interesting here is that actually the numbers are going up and down with the solar voltage, and then also the battery voltage is going up and down quite a lot because of the inverter that's on just now. So if we saw the battery amps, so this is really cool. You can keep an eye on the battery and see how much you're using, and you can see it's on bulk mode just now, which is like making sure it tries to charge it as much as possible. And yeah, you can keep an eye on your battery and your solar panel. Super cool. We're currently sat under a tree, so we don't get like a huge amount of power, but enough to like charge and keep the battery topped up. And so most of the time it's set to charge the batteries. So there's 2 leisure batteries, which I'll show in a second. But this is another one of these 12 volt kind of junction boxes. And so it's got, at the moment it just has batteries connected up to it. So this is connected to the load. And what that means is that when the batteries are all filled up, the leisure batteries of the Motorhome, this will just charge any spare batteries I have. So I have some batteries for my recording studio, and there's a bigger battery here that you can use to like charge laptops and stuff as like an emergency supply. So I just sometimes turn that on just to keep the spare batteries topped up. So it's really like a charging station. No changes to the kitchen. So our kitchen area is just perfect as it is. The only change in the toilet is I replaced the shower head. So this is a shower head and a sink head. So you pull it out and it becomes a shower. And I can't get it back in. And what it does is this shower head allows you to have a much higher pressure, but also the water running through it's super cool. So I'll have to turn that on and show you. If I just turn on the control panel here, and turn on water. Yeah, so when you put this on, it like filters through the filters through these stones and provides nice clean water. If you've managed to fill up your tank with any dirty water, it'll clean that out for you. It's the bathroom, and then under here, so this is the seating area for when we're driving, and also it doubles as a kind of small double bed. And this was the first piece of electrics I did, which was just to replace, so there's a plug down here, you might not be able to see it, it's just in the corner here, and I replaced the USB connection I replaced with a 12-volt adapter. And so you can either plug in this, which is like a 12-volt to USB adapter, or just a normal 12-volt device in. So that's handy. And then, so the biggest part of the work I did was the inverter. So the inverter is, I'll show you the device in a second. Yeah, so what an inverter does is it allows you to connect mains supply devices like a Hoover or a computer or anything directly into the batteries for the motorhome. So the motorhome has 2 extra batteries, and this allows us to really just go off grid really easily, but still use all the appliances that we'd have at home. And I'll show you that device in just a second. And so down here, this is what I set up. So this is a plug. So this is just like a normal UK 240 volts, around 10-13 amp supply. And then you turn it on here, and what that does is it's hooked up underneath here, which I can show in a minute. And it connects to, I put the inverter down here, so hopefully I can reach down and show you. So I put it under the driver's seat, and that's because there's a similar device already here. And this is the inverter here, so it has 2 plugs out. It's a 2000 watt inverter, and it runs the length of the seat here. This gives it lots of space, and it's nice and cool. This is the remote cable, so you could control it just where I showed you, where I turned it on. And this is the power supply that plugs directly into the side of the cupboard there, and then there's an extra one here. So that's been great. And just to show you under the seat here, so this is the seat that I was just showing you. What I did under here is, this is a battery in here, 12-volt battery, and so I've connected in this cable for the inverter, run it down under here, and it runs underneath, and it connects, it goes right under here to get to the battery, and then there's another battery under here. Sorry, that's where the inverter is, so the red cable runs there for the inverter, and then under here is another battery, which you can just see. And so you actually connect them in series, so sorry, in parallel. So the red cable goes from that battery over there directly into the back of the inverter here, and then there's a black cable that runs out for the negative, and it comes into this battery here. And then there's another connecting cable to run them back again. And so when they're connected in parallel, you get a much better use of the batteries. They're used evenly. And show you the inverter working. So there's Patch the dog, say hello Patch. And as you can see, we have something plugged in here to our inverter, which is currently showing we're about 3/4 power. And so this is just running directly off the battery, the 2 leisure batteries that we have. And then if I come over here, here's my son Nathan. Hello. And he is very excited because we went to get fish and chips today, so he's finishing his chips. And even better, he has his Xbox connected up to the inverter. So there's a cable running here, just down to the plug down here, to the inverter. And there he has the TV as well. It's a 12-volt TV. So we just ran a cable for the HDMI up into the TV so you can't see it. And I have another solution for the power to make it neater, but yeah, this is the idea. We'll be able to play Xbox wherever we go. Not much, but just sometimes when we're away for long times and getting bored. And in the corner here is the MiFi device. So this is the MiFi device we use for, I don't think you can really focus on it, but it's what we use for our internet. So that just stays there, and it gets charged up through the 12-volt connection here. So yeah, we're going to spend the night in our garden. And if I take you up to the top bunk, I also added in an extra USB point in here. So this is a surface mount USB. I just got it from Amazon. So this is it on here. It has 2 USB points in it, which is really handy, which you can just about see there. And at the moment it has an Alexa Show in there. The Alexa Show does work, but I really need to mount it on the wall here to make it more accessible. And then what I did was, to be able to do that, I ran a connector, so a cable runs on the other side of this part here, and it goes over to a lighting socket. So because they're also low ampage, you can use the same wiring, and it goes down to the fuse box here. And yeah, that's it. The rest is just a couple of extra bits and pieces. So just like an extra charger down here to split out into providing 5 USB while we're driving, so we can charge anything we want directly from the Motorhome engine. And let's turn this inverter off. So yeah, that's it. The next things I'll be doing is I'm going to add a small inverter here, which is useful for laptops and extra USBs. And hi, so we're going to spend our night, we're still in lockdown in the UK, so we're going to spend the night here in the motorhome. Nathan's going to play and watch some movies, and I'm going to do some video editing, and then we're going to play for a bit and then head to bed. So thank you very much for watching, and take care. Sending love from Scotland.